Oh, yeah, I guess we're here for a reason.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to call the meeting of the Richmond City Council for Monday, May 27th, 2024 to order. May I have a motion on the minutes?
Move. Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Any agenda additions or deletions, Madam Clerk?
No agenda additions, Your Worship.
All right, may I have a motion to resolve in the committee of the whole to hear delegations on items on the agenda? All those in favor, opposed, carried. Anybody here wanting to speak to us on an item on the agenda?
Move, revise, and report. Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried. Brings us to the consent agenda. We have the receipt of the committee minutes, the municipal top-ups for heat pump retrofits in existing ground-oriented residential homes, 2024 child care professional and program development grants, the second intake. Then we have the housing agreements. First of all, to secure moderate market rental and market rental units at 8880 Cook Road and 8751 Citation Drive. And then one on to secure low-end market rentals at 8911, 3151, and 91 Patterson Road. Next item is the ICBC City of Richmond Road Improvement Program 2024 update and the Canby Road and Number 5 Road intersection upgrade, the Number 2 Road multi-use pathway and active transportation improvement program for 2022 project update. May I have a motion to adopt those items by general consent?
So moved. Second.
Now, Councillor Wolf is online. Councillor Wolf, you had a question?
Thank you. No, it's, well, a question, but also to speak to the consent agenda, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. And apologies for not being there. I'm just recovering from pink eye with my daughter. So I got 3 items I'll speak to. Item number 7, that's the municipal top-ups for heat pump retrofits in existing ground-oriented residential homes. I know the province has given us 2 options, and I would support the larger amount for top-ups, but seeing in staff's report that there was quite a bit of uptick just in any amount of municipal top-up, I will support what committee has put forward for this. Item number 9, also a little hesitant on that one. It is a housing agreement, and I support the housing agreement in item 9, which is the development Cook Road and Citation Drive near Garden City Road. I didn't support the project for a number of reasons, and learning from staff at the planning committee meeting this week or last week that the current renters are paying over the kind of current low-end market rate. So they're paying more than that, but all of this development, 100% of it will be rental, but not at that rate. So the families will have a tough time securing the same type of housing in Richmond. We heard from staff that they're the moderate, which would be the lower end at this location, is going to be about 40% above the Lima rate. So I don't know, maybe 30%, 35% more than what people are paying now, and that's tough to do, as we know. Anyhow, I will support the housing agreement because it's what it is. My last item I'd like to speak to is item number 11. It's the ICBC City of Richmond Road Improvement Program. I do have a question to add to staff. So we learned at the Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting that this cycle we're requesting projects up to a total of $17,000. Last year, I think, was about $8,000. So we're not capped. We could be asking for more projects. For example, the uninterruptible power supplies at all of our major intersections. Anyhow, my question to staff, I know it's not included in last year's or this year's program, but could this be used to have ICBC pay for independent traffic consultants to provide recommendations at all the top 20 accident locations in the city? Is that something that it could be used for them to hire consultants on their dime?
Through your worship, to Councillor Wolf, no, that's not my understanding from ICBC. ICBC's projects are limited to construction projects as far as I'm aware.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you. And your worship, with that, I'll support everything on the consent agenda. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Day.
Thank you very much, Mayor Brody. I just had a question on number 7, the municipal top-ups for heat pump retrofits. We've heard loud and clear from many builders and developers that they build a house with, electric everything, including car chargers and whatnot, and then they can't get the 400 amp service from BC Hydro. Can we expect an update, or can you update what's happening with the grid system?
Through your worship to Councillor Day, just broadly, BC Hydro has recognized the need to address a few things with an upcoming BCUC submission to look at improving and modernizing some of the rate structures, as well as the grid extension policy that they currently have. And some of that's going to be part of a forthcoming report, which Council will see. So they've heard from many parties that is the case. They're also very welcome to come out and talk about their plans in some detail and engage questions from council in that regard, with regard to supply, with regard to the pace of the BCUC submission that's going forward, or hopefully will go forward, and all that. So
the thing that I was hearing particularly from builders, is that it could cost them $40,000 to $60,000 to enhance the system so they can get their hookup. Do you think that BC Hydro will be addressing that in that report?
Through your worship, Councillor Day, yes, there definitely will be. With regard to that cost that was quoted, our understanding is that's probably undergrounding that's somehow needed on site, and the question of that in terms of single detached lots is probably less so, but that could be looked at. And in terms of the 400 amp service, you can also look at 200 amp services, and it's much, much less expensive. And we've checked with Technical Safety BC, and that can be the case. So we'll raise some of these solutions and discussions at our forthcoming builder breakfast, which we're scheduling for June, which is that audience of Part 9 builders. So.
Next month. That's good to hear. Thank you very much. I wanted to speak about the number 9, which is the moderate market housing, which would be located at 8880 Cook Road. I was kind of excited when I saw moderate rental housing. But then when I dug a little deeper, and all the numbers are available on page 90, these are still going to be $400 to $700 more a month than affordable housing. So while it's nice to get 68 units, it's not going to be that affordable. There will be 271 units in total, and my hope is that by putting this forward, we'll end up with more market rental housing, more permanent market rental housing, which hopefully in the end will bring the overall price of rents down by sheer quantity, supply and demand. And then if you go to the next item, which is item 10, which is actual affordable housing, the rates for that are on page 139. And as you can see, they're considerably less than moderate housing or market housing. Number 11 is the ICBC Road Improvements Program. We heard about this in the Public Works and Transportation Committee. On page 71, the City of Richmond has got $8.3 million worth of work that they're planning. And ICBC might kick in $215,000. So it's a pretty small percentage, but it's still worth going after that money. And if you go to page 173, then the Richmond's total for projects is actually $17.7 million. So if you're wondering where all your tax dollars are going, that's where they're going, to fix up the roads. And then the last one is number 12, which is I want to talk about the Cambie and number 5 road intersection. I'm going to ask staff who are kind enough to provide with a detailed map of what that intersection is going to look like. And I'd like the minutes to reflect that map, because when you just read the report, it's hard to understand what's actually happening. But staff did a great job, and thank you very much to Eric Sparrow for creating these maps so we can better understand what is happening at that really critical corner. So thank you very much.
All right, staff will take that under advisement. All right, Councillor Hobbs.
Thanks, and through the chair, I'll be supporting everything on the consent agenda, and I just want to speak quickly to 2 items, and we've already heard about them actually, but I think the heat pump retrofit program is a good one to mention. It has a 2-year program where it will be evaluated at the end of it. It's an incentive, it's something people do voluntarily, and I think it's a good way to introduce people to the possibilities of making that change. It's a relatively small amount of money, but it's still helpful in terms of some of the changes you have to make within your own house. And I really like it because there'll be an evaluation of it at the end of it, and it'll probably answer some of the unknowns that I myself have. The second one I want to mention is just number 11, the ICBC program. ICBC and road safety, they're an incredibly positive partner for all cities, including Richmond. And I think that the money that they do contribute, it helps to reduce collisions at strategic points. It also helps to reduce injuries and death. And it's a proven and successful program that's been going on for decades in cities. So I'm very happy that we're still participating in that and that it helps out with, smaller projects such as lights and at crosswalks and that kind of thing. So good partnership with ICBC and glad that it's still ongoing. Thank you.
Councillor Howe.
Your Worship, I have a quick question on item number 7. I don't understand because staff give us two numbers, $350 or $2,000. So I mean, why is that being the case? Nothing in between. How can it be the case?
Through your worship to Councillor Al, those requirements are set through through Clean BC in terms of the incentive. They either have a very large incentive or a modest incentive that local governments can top up or contribute to. So staff did analysis on that and looked at the results from a number of other municipalities that have been utilizing top-ups, both at the larger level and at the modest level. And what was discovered was that the results are very similar. So in terms of the efficiency of use on this, we're starting at the modest level because the underlying Clean BC incentive is actually pretty good. And they've just been increased recently by the province to be tailored to income and kind of equity-based, but they cover a whole range of household incomes and types, which is really, really encouraging to see. So the actual incentives, underlying incentives have gotten bigger and more attractive.
Yeah, like Councillor Wolf, I would like to see a larger subsidy, right? But we cannot do that. Okay, so I can go on with what we have, right? Thank you.
All right, thank you. With that, we'll call the question on the consent agenda. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? That is carried. Brings us to public announcements and events. So first of all, we have National Accessibility Week, which is May 26th to June 1st. It's an opportunity to increase awareness of the need to identify, remove, and prevent barriers experienced by people with disabilities in the community. The city will continue to advance accessibility here in Richmond through the planning and construction of buildings and facilities, our website, and the staff education. We encourage everyone to use this week to learn more about the accessibility challenges many people face in their daily lives. Now, June is National Indigenous History Month. A variety of in-person and virtual events and activities will take place in Richmond to recognize the heritage and strength of Indigenous peoples. Details will be on the city website in the coming days. Then we have Seniors Week. Monday, June 3rd to Sunday, June 9th is Seniors Week. This year's theme is active aging, encouraging everyone 55 and older to maintain a healthy lifestyle and to make use of the many physical and wellness opportunities the city has to offer. So if you want a full list of the Seniors Week activities, you can find it at richmond.ca/Seniors Week. Then it's Go by Bike Week. Monday, June 3rd to Sunday, June 9th is also Go by Bike Week across the region. This annual event, formerly Bike to Work Week, encourages new and existing riders to use active transportation as part of their daily routine. The city sponsors various events in our community, including a free bike maintenance workshop and more. So for details, visit the city website. Then we have Doors Open Richmond. That returns on Saturday and Sunday, June 8th and 9th. This popular event is in its 17th year and features more than 40 unique sites across the city that highlight our cultural diversity and rich heritage. Many locations offer guided tours throughout the weekend, while others have behind-the-scene videos of their organizations or business online. Organized by the Richmond Museum Society, Doors Open Richmond is the longest-running event of its kind in the province. So for more information, go to richmondmuseum.ca. So, Madam Clerk, we have an administrative correction on the bylaws for first, second, and third reading.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. The substance is that Richmond zoning bylaw 8500 bylaw amendment bylaw 10562 be introduced and given first, second, and third reading. So that's moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Then bylaws for adoption.
Thank you, Your Worship. We have 3 bylaws for final adoption with no opposition.
Move 3 bylaws for adoption. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And then the development permit panel.
Thank you, Your Worship. There is one recommendation for council, and that the minutes of the development permit panel meeting held on May 15th, 2024 be received for information.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Then may I have a motion to resolve any committee of the whole to hear delegations on non-agenda items?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. We have one such agenda. Alex Sager to delegate on treatment options for Richmond residents. Okay, please identify yourself, and sir, you've got 5 minutes.
Thank you. My name's Alex Sager, V73L2. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed members of Richmond City Council and fellow concerned residents, today I stand before you not just as a citizen of Richmond, but as a voice for those whose struggles often go unheard and unnoticed. I speak of the pressing issue of addiction and the lack of accessible resources for individuals seeking recovery in our city. Recent actions, including the reinstatement of the ban on hard drugs by the provincial government, have brought renewed attention to the challenges faced by those battling addiction. While government initiatives aim to address this crisis, the reality on the ground suggests a significant gap between rhetoric and action. Addiction isn't just a personal struggle. It's a community crisis that affects us all. It tears family apart, fuels crime and violence, and undermines the safety and well-being of our entire city. It's a cycle that perpetuates itself, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. But what troubles me even more is the stark contrast between the promise made and the realities faced by our citizens. We hear of initiatives and funding allocations, yet on the streets just 200 meters from where we sit, a homeless camp continues to grow unchecked, denying our citizens access to public amenities and raising serious concerns about public safety. This isn't just about statistics and budgets. It's about real people, real lives, and real suffering. It's about the mother who fears for her child's safety as they walk to school past discarded needles, or the business owner who struggles to keep their doors open in the face of escalating crime rates. We cannot afford to turn a blind eye to these issues any longer. We cannot afford to let partisan politics and bureaucratic red tape stand in the way of meaningful actions. We need comprehensive solutions that address the root cause of addiction and homelessness, and that provides viable pathways to recovery for those in need. That's why I stand here today to urge the Richmond City Council to take proactive steps in advocating to the province for the establishment of detox and recovery centers within our city. We need facilities that can accommodate new patients without prolonged wait lists, and that provide the support and resources necessary for individuals to reclaim their lives and become productive members of society once more. But let us not stop there. Let us also work together to address the broader issues of poverty, mental health, and social inequality that often lie at the heart of addiction. Let us invest in our communities, not just in brick and mortar, but in the people who call Richmond home. I know that changes won't happen overnight, and the road ahead may be long and challenging. But if we stand together as a community, if we refuse to accept the status quo, then I believe that we can make a difference. I believe that we can build a safer, more inclusive, and more resilient city for all residents. Thank you for your time and attention. Let us work together to make Richmond a place where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Thank you.
I have a question from Councillor Day.
Yeah, just, are you aware that Dr. Dina Dewar, who's our Richmond-based chief medical officer, was quoted in February as saying that we can and should continue to do more to keep people safe as they navigate their illness and treatment journey. And then she went on to say that this would include collaborative approach to address stigma, support peers, and enhance services. So we're doing it. Have you thought about maybe sending that letter to the Vancouver Coast Health Authority?
Yeah, I have thought of that and I plan on doing it. But all it can take some time is just to get a detox. Yes, we have SCS, we have stuff like that, but without something for somebody that wants to, after they've overdosed or they've used, and they don't have any other, they have a 1 to 2 month waiting period to even get an inch of help sometimes. In my personal experience, I was told to just try not use for 30 more days and then we'll see if we can get you a facility. And that was right here at Richmond. So.
Do you understand that that's not under the direction of Richmond City Council?
Oh, I understand
but
that.
is
I understand
Vancouver
it's
Coast-
provincial.
Yeah.
But I feel the city could be a little more proactive in requesting stuff such as the red light cameras that they wanted to do, or the 4K cameras, like stuff like that. Like, we can also do stuff to help our citizens by also expressing to the province that we need a little more help, and maybe we can be the change that.
And that's been done, thank you. I wouldn't mind asking staff to come up and just explain some of the.
No, there'll be no questions.
Okay, well, the staff, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll send you what is being done in the city right now. You'd actually be blown away.
Well, there's not enough being done.
Well, we're going to keep working on it. Thank
People
you.
are dying.
All right, may I have a motion to rise and report?
Second.
All those in favor, opposed, carried. No, before we adjourn, I missed out an important announcement. This comes out of the closed meeting this afternoon. As a result of the provincial government's imposition of Bill 44, which requires the city to allow up to 6 units for most single-family or duplex-zoned lots within the Steveston neighborhood, with no on-site parking requirements, the city is applying for an extension from the province's June 30th, 2024 deadline to amend zoning to allow small-scale multi-unit housing in the area bound by Steveston Highway to the north, number 1 Road to the east, Chatham Street to the south, and 7th Avenue to the west. The extension is required due to ongoing Steveston sanitary sewer replacement program and the need to ensure this infrastructure work is completed prior to allowing small-scale multi-unit housing in the area. The extension will also provide time to consult with the Steveston community on the potential impacts of Bill 44 to the character of this historic neighborhood, as no stakeholder or public consultation was conducted by the province prior to the adoption of Bill 44, and there was no consideration of the impact and consequences of a one-size-fits-all approach for increasing housing supply on the character of a distinct historical neighborhood such as Steveston. And so that will be going out directly to various people who are involved. And of course, we will have a consultation with the Steveston area to find out exactly what they think about how the province has used its mandate to basically densify the most popular, the best neighborhood, what was adjudged to be the best neighborhood in the region just some time ago. Councillor Day, you had something?
Yeah, I think it's good to let people know what's coming down the pipe, but it's all of Richmond, it's all of British Columbia. And, if you have concerns, then, reaching out to your MLAs is the way to let them know how it would affect you and whether you would support it or not support it. But all of Richmond, all of Vancouver, all of Metro Vancouver, all of the province is being hit with these really high density in existing neighborhoods.
In the single-family zones.
Yeah.
All right, may I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you, we're now adjourned, thank you.